Alright, in this video I'm going to repair a remote control car. In this case it is a Mario Kart 8. The problem is it does nothing, and I would assume that this problem is pretty similar to other remote control cars, and it's not really just specific to this Mario Kart 8. You can see I turned the remote control on. You get this little red blinky light on the remote control. All that means is that the remote is not really sensing your car. You can see it was on, I turned it off, turned it back on. It doesn't really matter. The batteries in both the remote and the car are brand new, so I pulled those out, tested them, and checked those out. And just changing the batteries gives no love. And ultimately it's a corrosion issue. The batteries inside the car cause corrosion to occur on some of the terminals, and as it turns out on the circuit board as well. So I'm going to just pull off the battery cover. And you can see that it takes 6 AA batteries, and I'll just put those aside. And I'll get a close-up of the cover here. You can see the top left and top right electrical contacts are really corroded. You can see the bottom 4 actually still have some sort of shiny coating on them. I guess a factory coating. The other 2 are really tarnished up. And in here, can't really see it very well, because I haven't taken the time to buy a new light despite being on YouTube for 2 years, but the top right one is pretty corroded up. Some sort of an electrical tester may be helpful when you do this job or work on small electronics like this as well, to check continuity, check if you have power, that sort of thing. I will periodically throw the video in super high speed so you don't have to watch me pulling out screws. And keep in mind there's 2 sizes of screws, so keep track of them. I didn't. Okay, with all the screws out, the top of the RC car pulls right off. And like I said, I don't think this is different for other RC cars necessarily, but you can see the little circuit board. It's got the antenna sticking off it. I know some videos have said if you move the antenna around, it'll make all the difference in the world. I don't think so. That's not my problem here. So with the top off, I'm just going to drop the batteries back in, and I'm going to use the electrical tester, poke around a little bit, and see if I can get some voltage coming through this thing or find some continuity, and of course I do not. And obviously the best spot to check the voltage is coming right off the battery pack there. And I did test it on a few different settings and I didn't get anything, although I do just play around with a couple of them here. I'm no electrical tester expert. In this case, the top of the battery compartment can pull off, and it just has 2 small screws. Again, different size than the other screws, and I'm just going to throw those aside. For cleaning products, I got this foamy battery cleaner. It's actually for cars, but whatever. And I have some electrical contact cleaner, which is for pretty much any type of electronics. I got a Scotch-Brite pad that I don't use for anything. And I generally use my wife's toothbrush. I find it cleans batteries better than my own toothbrush. Some other things you can use are baking soda and water. You could use vinegar. You could probably use rubbing alcohol as well. I do pull out some Q-tips a little bit later on. And initially I hit it with the battery terminal protector and cleaner. That's more of a car-based product. And all I do is just spray a little bit of the battery cleaner on, use the toothbrush to agitate it against the corroded terminals, and then eventually I will spray a little bit more battery cleaner on and agitate a little bit more. I do take this over to the sink and rinse it off because obviously it's not connected to the car, so I can get a little bit more serious with this. I do throw some vinegar on it, I do throw some baking powder on it, and that's pretty much it for cleaning that thing up. Now this one, because it's connected to the vehicle and I don't want to start doing solder and stuff like that, I just use some of the foamy spray and then a Q-tip and just rub it until it's fairly shiny. It doesn't come perfectly clean. I think the corrosion actually stripped some of the finish off these terminals, but it comes clean enough that the car is going to start working here pretty soon. So I do that twice, and then I take the electrical components cleaner and spray some of that in there as well. And then I just agitate everything with a Q-tip, not only to get any grime out of there, but also to dry off the electrical component cleaner as well. And then that's pretty much it for the battery compartment. Everything looks at least clean. Like I said, it doesn't come out quite as shiny as the other terminals, but they're clean anyway, and at least they're bare metal. So I'll put this back on, and obviously I'll throw things back into fast motion just to speed up the process. But once that tops on, I throw all the batteries back in, and I test the car again to see if I now have power coming out of the battery pack. And now that I have the 6 batteries installed into the battery pack, pull out the electrical tester and start poking at things. And good sign, it looks like I have power. And just where it connects onto the circuit board, also looking good. So power from the battery pack to the circuit board. Now I do try it and it doesn't work, so it does nothing again. And you can't really see, but there is some light sort of haze on the circuit board. So not only did the battery pack get corroded, but also the circuit board got a little bit corroded somehow. Not sure how that was possible. So I'm not using the battery cleaner, I'm just using the electrical contact cleaner this time, and then a Q-tip, and just try and get any discoloration and dust or corrosion off the circuit board. So I'll turn the remote control on, it's flashing, turn the car on, and it works perfectly. No issues whatsoever. Obviously this was specific for this Mario Kart 8, but I think that these steps are valid and will work for most of these battery operated remote controls. Now just put everything back together. Now with the batteries in, car put back together, last thing to do is obviously test it out before the kids wake up in the morning and take it back away from me. So obviously you're going to want to test all the functions, and not surprisingly, everything works absolutely fine. Anyway, if you have a broken Mario Kart 8 or any broken battery operated RC car, hopefully this helps you out. Thanks for checking out my video. Don't forget to like and subscribe.